friends. So as I discussed in my first two videos that I'll be discussing about all the important skills which are required for a student or anybody else to grow up in their life, to get success in their life. And as I discussed that there are four most important skills which are also known as learning skills in this age of 21st century, and those four skills are critical thinking, creativity and innovation, communication and collaboration. Out of all these four skills, communication skill is extremely key to success. So I will tell you a little bit about communication skills. Now first of all, we should understand that what are communication skills. Communication skills are ways, these are the abilities of expressing yourself, your opinion, your desires, your thought, your ideas so effectively that somebody else in front of you would be able to understand, would be able to decode your message, your thought, your perception. So now I will discuss about the types of skills, actually, types of communication skills. So basically there are four types of communication skill. One is called verbal communication skill. Now verbal communication skill is all about expressing your ideas, expressing yourself in terms of talking and speaking. Actually, as I'm talking to you, I'm using words, I'm using sounds to express myself. So this is called verbal communication skill, where you speak and talk. The second one is called non-verbal communication skill. Non-verbal communication is all about using your body language, your gesture, your posture, your facial expressions, your expression of hands, your expression of your shoulder. So when you use your body to express something, this is called non-verbal way of communication. The third is called written communication skill, actually. So you might have seen there are many people who are having mastery over written communication skill, and when you express your ideas through written content, after writing something else to the people, so that is called written communication skill. For example, like you read the daily newspapers. So in daily newspapers, you get a lot of information which are being written by a lot of people. So this is one fine example of a written communication skill. Okay. Even as a student also, when you write something to your principal as an application or as a notice or as a message, that is also a good example of a written communication skill. The fourth one is called visual communication skill. Visual communication is all about showing something to somebody else with the help of painting or play cards or some graphics, some designing. So you show somebody else to the people look at them, they see that one, and then they get a message. So that is called visual communication skill. So in this way, there are four types of communication skills, actually. So what are the four types of communication skills? The first is verbal communication skill, where you speak, where you talk. The second is called non-verbal communication skill, where you use your body language, your gesture, your posture. The third one is called your written communication skill, and the fourth one is known as visual communication skill. Okay. Now let us take one example of these four communication types of skills. Let's first of all talk about verbal communication skill. So what is verbal communication skill? Definitely it's a very simple. If I tell you very simple, like let us take example of children who are talking to their parents in their homes. So children, when they talk to their parents in their homes, they explain or they express their desire, they express their ideas, they express their feelings, they express their opinions to the parents by talking to them, by speaking to them, and this is known as verbal communication skill. Now there are many domains of verbal communication skill also, like what are the components which are to be taken care of while talking to somebody else, but I will discuss these things later on. Second is your non-verbal communication skill, actually. So you might have seen that in case of a non-verbal communication skill, you don't speak, you don't utter any word, you don't talk, but we use your body language. Now your body is also is a way of expressing certain language. For example, when you use your hands. Like I remember when we were students, we were being told by the teacher that when you talk to somebody else, you use your hands, you use your shoulders, you can use your facial expressions. Okay, so these are known as body language, and this is called as non-verbal communication, mode of communication. I'm giving a very good example of a teacher. When a teacher has to show some anger on the students, or if a teacher has to show some sort of dissatisfaction to any student, then she or he uses her facial expressions, and maybe she will make her eyes little open, wide open, and something like that. So students will understand, oh, like ma'am is not in a good condition and ma'am is not in a good mood. So they will automatically get a message. So this is called a non-verbal way of communication actually. Sometimes even parents also, when they are not agree with the demand of their own children, then despite using any foul language or any kind of hard words for their kids or for their children, they use a non-verbal way of communication, like turning their head like this way, like that way. So like children, they automatically understand okay. So this is called non-verbal way of communication. Now if we come to this written mode of communication skill, definitely since beginning itself in the schools, as a kid, we grew up writing so many applications to the teachers, to the parents, to the principal, and a lot of application we have written. So that is a way to express yourself through writing actually. Now there are many better way of communication. If you grow up in your life, you even come to certain fields where you see that written communication even becomes some type of a career. Like those people who are very, very good in terms of written communication, they enter into the field of media or the journalism, like newspapers, and print media is a very good example. So these are one, and the last one is called visual mode of communication. Visual mode of communication is very, very common and prominent when people, I have observed in my life, when they go and protest on the roads, or wherever they protest actually for any reason, or if they have to show any kind of anger or message, or if they have to be the part and parcel of certain agitation or any kind of revolution, then they come onto the roads. Especially I have seen people giving their message to the government through placards or through some paintings, okay, through some slogans and all. So these are known as visual mode of communication. Even teachers also in the classes, they bring a lot of visual modes of communication. They show to the students first of all, and then students, they see those things. When they see those things, then teachers tell them to guess and to get a message or to encode the entire picture. And accordingly, students, they do that one, they follow that one. So these are different ways of communication actually. After these 4 types of communication and certain examples that we have seen right now, we need to understand that what are the elements of an effective communication. Okay, this is very, very important to know. What are the elements, what are the components of effective communication? Now, if I tell you about the components of effective communication or the elements of effective communication, so basically, if I talk about the important components of communication skill or important elements of communication skill, then the first important part, the first important tip to become effective in communication is to be a good listener. So listening is the most important essential component. Listening is very, very important. See, whenever you are into the communication and if you are not listening, then definitely you will not be able to understand what is being conveyed to you. As a teacher, whenever I'm entering into the classes, as a teacher, I definitely want every time that my students should be very, very good listener. Now, as a student, suppose teacher has come in the classes and teacher has spoken something, she has or he has discussed a lot of things about any topic, and if you have not concentrated properly, if you have not focused on the topic properly, so what happens? You are not able to understand, and if you don't understand, the teacher become very furious, the teacher become very angry, and a teacher shows a sign of dissatisfaction with you actually. So you have to be a very, very good listener when there is a communication going on, because communication is all about expressing something for somebody else, and the one who is listening, if he is not listening properly, so he wouldn't be able to be the part and parcel of an effective communication. So definitely for effective communication, it's very, very important that you have to be a very good listener. So develop the habit of listening. It's extremely important. Second component is if you want to make your communication effective, as I told you in the beginning, that effective communication is only possible not only by speaking or by listening, but you have to use your body language properly. Your body gives a lot of messages. Okay, maybe in days to come, I can take a separate separate PPT presentation or separate video for what body language is all about. But body language gives a lot of message. Even through your facial expressions, you can give a lot of message. If you're happy, you can give a smile on your face. If you're angry, you can show different facial expression. So your facial expression, your different parts of your body, your shoulder, your hand, all these are being used to communicate message. Okay, so if you really want to be into the communication effectively, then you must use your body language effectively, so that the person who is with you or anybody else who is with you would be able to understand, would be able to feel that yes, we both are into the communication, we both are the part and parcel of communication. Third important point is be clear. Be clear. It's very, very important to be clear. And what is be clear? Being clear means whatever you want to express, whatever you want to tell, you must use selected words, effective words, and your idea must be completely clear to the person itself. Now suppose as a teacher, if you are entering into a class, or as a manager when you are addressing your own employees, or as a doctor whenever you're talking to your patients, so definitely you would want to be onto the topic. As a teacher, if you have been given a topic of chemistry to teach in the class, definitely you are not going to teach physics. As a doctor, if you have to discuss about cough, definitely you will discuss about cough. You will not discuss about pain, right? So I mean to say, you have to be clear. Whatever you want to speak, whatever you want to communicate, you have to be clear. The message should go straight and direct. Like many times people used to tell ki you don't know how to communicate properly. Your way of communication is very weird and all. People get confused when you talk actually. So why somebody would get confused when the message is loud and clear, right? So your message must be loud and clear so that people around you should not get confused. So I hope you understood. Means you have to be completely distinctive in terms of your ideas. You have to be completely transparent in terms of your ideas. Your message must not be overlapping in nature. Your thoughts must not be confusing in nature. Okay, so this is called being clear actually. Now, after that, being clear, like you have to be being concise also. Like what is being concise? Being concise means again the same thing. Like being clear or being concise. Concise means it's all about time limitation. Okay, suppose you as a speaker, you have been given half an hour time. Okay, and within half an hour you have to speak or you have to deliver a speech on a given topic. Now suppose you took 1 hour time or you took 2 hours time. So what happened? You didn't have control over your content. You did not calculate your content actually. You came without any preparation and you spoke like anything else, and like people kept on standing for an hour, for 2 hours. So this is what we call like you were not concise actually. Concise means use of limited words, use of colorful sentences, so that if you have a huge amount of message, then how that huge amount of message can be conveyed to a person by using simple words or simple sentences without taking so much of time. So that is what we call to be concise actually. So concise is basically giving you an indication of time limitation, because people, they don't have so much of time that they will come and listen like anything else. So you need to be very, very concise and clear as well. So this is what we call the fourth important elements of effective communication. After that, you have to be confident. That confidence is also very, very important. Okay. If I talk about confidence, like confidence is also kind of a skill, and people develop a lot of confidence. People gather a lot of confidence, how they have to speak and how they have to talk. Even as a student, Now I'm telling you from the point of a student. When we used to be in the classes, then every child is not equally confident to stand up and ask a question from the teacher. There are many children who have a lot of inhibitions, who have a lot of shyness. They don't even dare to stand up in the classes. Their personality is very, very suppressed, so they don't gather courage to put a question to the teacher. Okay, so if you really want to have a effective communication, if you really want that your message should be decoded properly by the people who are listening around you or who are standing in front of you, you have to be confident. Your confidence gives a message to the audience that you really know the content, you really have the control over your content, over your ideas, and you really have the master of your knowledge actually. So that confidence is very, very important. I hope you understood that confidence is a kind of ability to show to the people that whatever I want to speak and whatever I want to tell or whatever I want to put forward, I am well prepared, I am well clear, and I don't have any kind of confusion or any kind of second thought in my mind with respect to the message. So this is what we call confidence. So we need to have a confidence, and a confidence is not only required in communication; it is required everywhere. Even if I'm not wrong, nowadays in the schools, school is focusing more to make their children confident. Through this video, I would like to request even to the kids of class 5th or 6th standard, or even to 7th, 8th or 9th standard, or 11th, 12th standard, wherever they go, like either they are going to school, or they are going into the market, or they are going to any schools or colleges, or they are going with their parents to meet their relatives and all, they have to be smart and confident enough so that you should be able to put forward your ideas and opinion. There should not be any kind of inhibitions or any kind of a kind of holding factor that is holding you and you are not talking, and no introvertness should be there. So that confidence is required everywhere you need to be confident. So this is again one of the most important element of effective communication. Now apart from confident, you have to be personable. Being personable. Now what is being personable? Being personable means like you might have seen me, okay, like whenever I make any video, whenever I speak to you, generally I speak in a very serious mode of communication. I don't crack so much of jokes and all, okay, because I know that this is a different way of platform where I'm communicating my perceptions and thought about skills and other things. But sometimes you might have observed that whenever you are talking to somebody else, whenever you're communicating to somebody else, you don't enjoy that communication. Okay, you don't feel to be the part and parcel of communication. Reason being, could be a reason like your communication become monotonous, or it become a kind of a monologue. So when your communication is a type of a monologue where one person speaks, other person listen, or it becomes monotonous where there is no any recipe or a recipe which can make your communication interesting, so you feel bored actually. So like it's very, very important that there has to be a small a smile on the face. You need not to be serious all the time. I remember even as a teacher, when I used to teach in the classes, I crack a lot of jokes because it's very difficult for a teacher to hold the students in the class for more than half an hour. Okay, you cannot expect them to listen continuously for half an hour. That again creates a monotony in the classes. So you have to be a little jokey also. You have to have a very good sense of humor when you talk and communicate. And that humor does not come from outside. That humor is to be created through using some colorful languages, some colorful words, and then people enjoy that communication. So you have to be you have to be into the communication by showing your sense of humor also, and a little bit of a smile is definitely important on your face. So the last important element of communication is uh, you have to be patient actually. That patient is very very important. The patient was has come from patience and patient, to be patient. Patience, in Urdu we call sabr, or we call like dheeraj, you know. So whenever you are talking to anybody else, whenever you are speaking to somebody else, wherever you are communicating, wherever you are talking, you have to be very very patient. I'm giving a very fine example of patience. uh, Whenever we go to purchase anything from shopkeeper, and if the shopkeeper is desperate enough to sell his items, then he will be very polite and humble, and he will take enough time in satisfying you actually. Okay, so what that person basically does, he shows a lot of patience. Means he is not losing his temperament, or he is not judging you on the basis of your pocket or budget. Rather, he is showing all his items, and he will keep on showing you till the end. And finally, when you will get satisfied, then definitely you would think of purchasing. So extreme patience is very very important. You don't have to show any kind of hurriedness, or you have to catch any train or you have to catch a flight that you don't have any time. It's very very important. Even I have seen patients, those who are ill, those people who are ill, or those who are having any kind of disease, when they go to doctor, then they want to get satisfied, more than taking any medicine, more than taking any medication. I have observed these patients, they want to be satisfied by the doctor's uh, gesture, by the doctor's behavior, by the doctor's talk. So if a doctor gives more time to the patient is more satisfied. But if the doctor shows hurriedness, that I have to see thousands of patients within 24 hours, then definitely the doctor is not able to give enough time to the patient actually. So it's important for the doctor to be patient, shows a level of a kind of a stability. Okay, listen somebody else properly, and then after that you give your ideas actually. Okay, so this is what we call patience. And definitely these components are extremely important to make your communication effective. Okay, now in my previous videos, as already I have told you, that for communication you need a language, and it is not important that English only has to be the language. You can communicate in any language, but your communication can become effective only when you know the art of communication, the beauty of communication actually. So if you really want to be the master of communication, then you have to practice. You have to practice. I remember in one of the comment, one child has asked, sir, please let me know as to how we can practice these skills. So how you can practice communication? I would like to speak few words about how to practice communication. Now for practicing communication, communication needs a language. Language needs words. Words are interwoven into the form of sentences which come out from the mind. So definitely if you have a rich vocabulary, you will become a better speaker. You become a better orator. To have a lot of good words or a good vocabulary, you have to have the habit of reading at least 1 to 2 pages of your book every day. The language in which you want to have the mastery. If you want to have a mastery in English language, then every day you must read newspapers. Note down the hard words, note down the tough words, even note down the easy words which are being used in a colorful way. Note down in your copy, somewhere you pen down on the page, and think of using those words in your talks, in your communication, in your speaking skill with anybody else. Listen the English news every day, whether audio news or the video news, but you must listen every day. And apart from that, the most important part to become fluent in English communication, like I prefer basically, because I know that without English you may not be able to survive in this world. So to become effective in English communication, it's important and very, very important that you talk to somebody else. You talk to your parents in the family, you talk to your brothers, you talk to your relatives, you talk to your friends. Okay, so by talking, it will help you in having a continuous practice, because only through practice you will become better and better. If you don't practice, definitely you will lose your control over the language. Now there are many students, suppose in their family environment you don't have any environment to talk and practice actually. So what will you do in that very condition? In that very condition, you talk to yourself. You talk to yourself. They're very simple. Now, how will you talk to yourself? Even sometimes, not sometimes, many times even I talk to myself. Like I automatically produce any topic of interest of mine, and I start speaking on that very topic on and on, on and on, on and on, and then I don't know like how much I speak and how much I talk. So similarly, I'm telling you a very simple tip how to become how to talk to yourself. You will stand in front of a mirror. Okay, you will stand in front of a mirror, and then you take a topic, like any topic. You like okay, take your topic like education system, or you take topic like poverty, or you take topic like fundamental duties, fundamental rights, or economical conditions, and then you start expressing your views. You speak on and on, on and on, on and on every day. Fine. And you will find that you are getting a habit of speaking continuously. Even you have a mobile as of now in this world, so you may record your communication, you may record your own talk. You speak and you record your own talk. Okay, and after recording, you just see it and analyze it. How nicely you have spoken, what kind of mistakes you have done. Take feedback from your seniors, from your teachers, from your parents, and then keep on improving. So these are the ways to practice this communication skill actually. Okay, I hope this video must be very, very fruitful for the students, and yeah, I will keep on posting some very good thought about skills, and hope it will be fruitful for all my children, for all my dear parents as well. And if you like my video, as I told in the beginning, please subscribe it, subscribe it, and touch the like button, and try to share the video as much as you can, so that other people who are in your friend circle, they may also get some benefit. They may also get certain kind of insights from my videos. Thank you very much. All the best. Take care. Bye.